get it started. So I'm going to start with, even though I know I said it's going to be interactive, blah, 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 I'm going to start with a very short initial presentation because I like to start every workshop and talk with sort of the motivation for why you should actually do this. So today I'm just going to be talking about what I call optimizing the path to your PhD, or for some people who have already graduated, optimizing the path to getting published. And so one way to do this, I suggest, is to maintain a research notebook. So like I said, everyone's goal is to one day, almost everyone's goal here, is to one day dress up in a fancy robe with a bunch of old people and talk with them until they finally give you your PhD after so many years of hard work. Or for some other people, maybe to get published in a high-profile journal. And so when I was preparing for this, I started reading through a lot of these lists of, tips for graduating on time, tips for publishing a high-ranked journal, blah, 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 blah. And in every single one, we would see this, I would see this one here, or some mutation of it, namely that you should record your progress. You should maintain some sort of research notebook. It's vital to organize your thoughts. And there's many benefits to doing this, and so this is kind of a compilation of all of them. First and foremost, it helps you organize your ideas. For me, I get tons of jumbled ideas every day, and if I can write it down in a notebook in some sort of cohesive manner, it helps me think about what I want to do next for my experiments. It also gives you a way to measure your progress. So, for a lot of people, doing research is just a blur, and next thing you know, 5 years are gone, and what have you done? Well, if you have a research notebook and you put in the date in there on every single thing you did, then you can see, oh, okay, I did this month, so on and so forth. It lets you visualize your data, and this was a big one for me because I almost did this before I was not recording my work, which was you don't repeat your work. So I had a case where I was doing an experiment, and I was like, oh, what if I look at this parameter? And fortunately, I looked back at my notebook, and I saw that I had already done that parameter sweep in my experiment. So I saved myself a lot of time, and I saved wasted APC resources. And then finally, I was kind of, it was interesting to see this, but it also makes your advisor happy if you maintain a research notebook. And it shows that you're organized and prepared. And so I'm calling the paper notebooks that a lot of people use nowadays, kind of the ye olden days. So this may look familiar to some of you, where we write everything in, and then maybe we have a figure we want to show in there, so we print it out. Some people are really hardcore and actually hand graph their figures, but I think most people just print out their figures if they want to put it in there. But I think maybe we should move to a more modern research notebook, and that's this IPython notebook that we all came here to learn about today. So what does IPython notebook let you actually do? Well, first and foremost, it has cells in there that allow you to log your research, so you can put text in there. You can embed images and videos right there in the notebook. It lets you explore your data, so it has code cells where you can actually look at the data and everything. You can plot it, do statistical analysis on it, and soon enough, you'll actually be able to present from it. So it's really optimizing the entire process, the entire research process, other than writing the paper, and who knows, maybe they'll come for that soon. And the coolest part about this, there are other tools out there that do this for you. But the coolest thing about this is it's all in the same notebook, and it's free. So let's go ahead and actually get started. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and start up the notebook. So has everyone downloaded all the files from GitHub yet, or no? Okay, let's walk through that. Okay, so everyone go to this link here. Yeah, okay, good. And then there's going to be there a link that you can click that just says zip, and that's going to let you download it locally onto your computer. So I'll go ahead and do that. ahead and put your sticky up once you've gotten that far.
Is the version you get out of Ubuntu's package manager going to be updated enough?
You're talking about IPython notebook?
Yeah.
Yeah, should.
Where should you put the file? Where should you put the file?
Just keep it in the downloads folder. For these purposes, it doesn't matter.
Can you pop the link up again?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It goes in the emails.
Hey, Dirk.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. I'm gonna go find a seat.
I feel like we need some work music or something. I didn't prepare for that. Okay, so I think we're more or less ready for that. Good? No? You're good or no?
Yep.
No. Okay. Joy, do you got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have the Flash. You're looking at IPython. So what?
Just type the rest of that.
Yeah. That's the actual IPython installation distribution. Unzip it in there, and then we're going to go and actually pull up the notebook on it. Okay. So let's go ahead and keep moving. So go ahead and change the directory to your downloads directory. So I'm pretty sure this is the same for both Windows and Linux and everything. You just open up your terminal, and then I think it's a cd command, and change it to your downloads directory.
No, archive utility is failing.
It's failing.
I've been having this issue for the last 24 hours.
What is it, like tar?
Is it tar?
Unzip works.
Huh?
Just
unzip.
unzip. Okay.
Type unzip with nothing, it'll to give you the command line option.
Cool.
Thank you. I'm supposed to be typing that into Python?
No. This is your command line. That's your terminal. And the red goes up.
Click on it and hit shift and right click and it'll just open it up in the right place. So you can navigate the way you normally would under this.
Oh, you can actually open up the terminal.
Yeah, wherever you can. Just shift.
I guess I could be a TA if you needed an extra.
So like if you go to the folder you're trying to open, like in the normal way you're trying to do, you're trying. Okay. Well, it's just like down to
I don't know if there's going to be
go up a
an actual
level.
breaking point, but this is.
So you can just hit USB.
Okay, cool.
Raise your hand.
Sorry.
A mini break.
Yeah, we can like
Start up the notebook and then.
And then find the folder downloads. Now right click on the should
What?
and there should be an option that says something like
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's awesome.
Ready for that?
open command.
Okay, and so the next thing we want to
I
do.
thought of doing that on my own. That's a clever idea.
Most everyone good? Okay, so the next thing we want to do is start up IPython notebook. So we do that by typing IPython space notebook. And then we want to enable the feature that allows plots to actually be shown inside the notebook. So we do this dash dash pylab equals inline. Don't worry what that means. That just tells the notebook to display graphs inside. Once you have that typed, I'll wait. Hit enter. I'll leave that up there for you guys. And then that should take a few seconds to fire up IPython notebook, and then it should open up in your browser.
Does IPython support Chrome?
Yep.
Yes.
I would
opened
hope
it
so.
earlier and it didn't, and then I opened it this time and it didn't, so that was why I was asking if it had actual support, not pseudo support.
Every time we want to run, we start with the command line just like that.
Yeah, and I can show you with some tips and tricks later. There's actually a way where you can just set up an alias or an alias. Pronounce it correctly. I pronounce it weird. Yeah. Anyway, you set up an alias where you can just type a command and it'll automatically fire it up for you wherever you need to go. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and execute it.
Is anybody else connected to MCPS?
Oh man.
Not MCNet, but not guess.
Sorry, I just realized something really stupid. You should change directories into the IPython notebook directory.
What happened from outside?
Huh?
From outside
Yeah,
the
so-
file, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, for it to see the notebook, the notebooks in there, they need to be in the actual directory you started it up from. So you should open it up and you should see this
It's
now.
not responding to anything.
If you don't, please put up the red symbol.
Show what the
LS?
Those instructions in the shop.
I did put a space in there, did that screw everything up?
There should be a folder called IPython Notebook Workshop, so just type C space and then tab. Just hit tab. No, there's no folder in there.
Double tap.
I might not have gotten those things in before because when I did it before, one of the password.
Just to download it?
To, I went through the directions and it said to do this line by line.
Right.
And it said you need a password. So I couldn't do
Oh,
that.
yeah. Oh, well, you put in the password for your computer to install.
Oh, that?
Yeah.
That was special.
Yeah,
Okay, let me do this first.
Okay. Sounds good.
If she connects to MSU.net, she shouldn't have to.
Miss a plugin or something?
Yeah, the last time I've done anything like this was in like Visual Basic.
Which folder? It's in the download folder.
Just go into the.
Oh no.
Rather go into the.
There was no posting anyway.
When you were just looking
No,
at
usually when the security police comes up, there's like a, go back or just post it anyway. Yeah, we're gonna go back.
What's that? Green, you put it up when you're done. Red.
There's a side with an example.
It's slightly modified. So. What's that? It's just in the IPython.
So it's saying it's in there.
Am I the only one following now?
Oh, no.
So it's just, I'm using Wikipedia.
What's the next command I have?
Anyone else need stickies?
Yeah, no, but when I open up IPython.
Wow. Oh, you don't have GitHub.
Yeah, or it says there's nothing in there.
Or you can just yell at me. You're right there.
I mean, my other account would be
What's that?
because it's not
It's just putting this.
How are we doing over there? Good?
Well, actually, I had cloned the wrong directory. They're not a way to drag and drop a file.
So you can, but some files. Yeah, so you can, but some files for the notebook won't be in the right directory then. So you changed to the downloads directory, right?
That's right.
Okay, and then did you unzip the zip file in there? Can you change directory into that?
No.
Into that folder? Okay. So you're
I'm
good?
trying to just see if I'm in the right folder.
Okay. Okay, so for everyone else, just go ahead and click this link that says IPython Notebook Tour and open it up. It looks like the food is here, so let's take a short little break to grab the food and start trying down if you would like. Okay. Yep.
So, I've been playing with this.
Now do the whole
What is it? Image analysis stuff is pretty good.
Yeah, it's really cool. It can be like 3D
Oh,
graphics.
yes. Oh, I didn't realize it's in there.
Yeah.
Why is this so hard?
Yep.
There we go. Okay, so it was, you had to take, I had to do it twice. I had to go, because I wasn't in the.
What are you?
That's just, I just, well, no, I think that's just supposed to be This is just the outer folder.
No, that's what I'm saying. I did,
There we go.
this is Ubuntu, so I use the app.
Are you going to use the
install
it might work.
install before IPython.
Try it out. It doesn't work yet.
Oh, and it's on my workshop thingy? Or?
Did you download the zip?
No.
Oh, see, that was what I was asking earlier. Is it,
Probably
what we need to work unless
you use the N5.
Well, no, I think he has it working fine. You just need to download. Just have to download the notebook itself from my website.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, well. Okay.
Big day working?
He didn't say anything.
Really? Not thanks.
So they don't use it?
I mean, if there's another way to that is.
Yes,
I did, and it never helped.
Yeah, I think this is that you get to go with that.
I see. Okay.
Right. Install.
Did you
Get her worked out with numbers. No, I'm going to install the GitHub app. Install the background stuff and have no idea with it. Because basically, when you go back to the
If you go through all the instructions on that,
that's the Git clone it doesn't work.
Okay.
So you have to install it all.
Yeah, I think, okay, so you probably just install this IPython. Yeah, they have some dependencies.
I need to write Panda.
I don't know how to bring your
Oh, that way. So first you have to actually go on GitHub. And drag my left that side. Yeah, have you signed up on GitHub?
It's fun, I've been playing it.
Well, I mean, you just want to download my workshop, right?
Right, where's your work one?
So if you just put it in.
Oh, I did that.
Okay. And you already have IPython.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not.
If Homer is not showing up, we
I was like super excited.
a little like 3 is not quite
I
enough.
finally got into warped over just finally. I wasn't even aware
Let's see, we
that
did.
it was fine. I was just having to do
I don't know. Ingenious was one of them.
one of my favorites. They're getting food.
Wait, downloads.
30 taxes and.
Downloads.
Okay. Is that the phone there?
Oh,
Kingdom Build 8.
Wait, I think I did commit. Don't look at
Okay.
Just saw the
There it is. Okay. So, let's go ahead and go to the terminal. Okay. And then you have C.
too much. I might have something in the back.
Space tilde /.
Yeah, I downloaded it twice, so
And then hit that. And then you type like I. There it is. Okay, so go ahead and open type the IPython notebook.
Notebook.
Notebook, space, /.
Yeah.
Highlight.
Hooray! My God.
Those two are playing with us? Yeah. Those two are playing with us, Matt's playing with us. I don't know, it's Tyler. I don't know if he's on the other patch. Yeah, it's different for all the other crowd. It would make me look terrible.
Oh,
Yeah, it was good.
I'm probably comfortable with the bottom 2 or 3 skill ones on our team. That's what I figured. I'm working on this. Nobody's getting mad.
Yeah. So I already did an idea on this. I did it for, stuff. So just do the updates then?
Yes. Yeah, go ahead and
Still can't get your example.
Sorry, the workshop example?
Yeah.
Are you running it from the directory that we sent? It's still not showing.
I can click on it and there's nothing in. I just rebooted, so I'm going to try it again right now.
Okay.
Because I had a couple IPythons running in the background.
Yep.
When I click on
On our website.
I thought that was
But it's blank. Huh. That seems like some kind of installation issue. If you go back to the terminal, does it show any errors there or anything?
Oh, it does.
It showed up?
Unreadable JSON notebook. It's a warning. I don't know that error.
I wonder if, I know what's happening there, because, I made this, I edited this notebook on the new IPython notebook format, and so they are stored differently, and it looks like you have the older IPython notebook installed. Yeah.
And thought pulls in the older one.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, okay. I might have to get the older version for you guys. Thumbs up line?
Yeah,
Okay, so it seems like a hard part. It's because we have the older so you can go to the terminal and also open up my workshop page that has the installation instructions. were you successfully able to do the update to IPython notebook? You know, the git pull and everything?
I did do the update IPython.
And that ran successfully?
It was like,
Huh. Okay, let me get you guys an older version of that. Yeah, just give it your login password. It's just so you can install it into it.
Didn't you install everything through
What's that?
but it doesn't like make it color. Yeah, so if you review that would be that.
Right. And it's still not showing up after you update it.
Oh, no, right. I'm just saying, to give instructions. I should trouble opening the file.
Okay, well, just in the interest of time, for the people who are opening up the notebook, and it's showing up blank, just click on, okay. Awesome. So there's a button on this page here, which just says New Notebook. So just click on that and try to follow along. Just type things in as we go. Okay? Okay. So we're going to keep on going then. Okay. So first and foremost, I wanted to show everyone in the notebook these Markdown cells, what they're called. And so these are the cells that you can put text in and you can mark them up similar to the HTML language. And so you do that for people who are making a new notebook. You'll notice if you click here, and depending on the version, it'll be up here or it'll be to the left. You can change the cell type. And so you can click here and choose Markdown. And then if you double click inside of those cells, you can type the text. And so here's, here's how you do headers. Here's how you italicize, bold, do lists and everything. And so you can go ahead and play around with that for a second if you want to format other things and play around with that. On top of that, you can show Python code. So, if you have a really fancy algorithm that you designed or you want to show pseudocode or whatever, you can put that right in here.
How does it know it's Python code?
I just automatically detect it, I guess. It's magic. Because you have it in.
Oh, it does require a tag?
Yeah, it does require a tag, sorry. And same for other languages as well. If you have it in, it'll automatically detect that it's code and format it and color it properly. And then finally, if you're using all the mathematical equations in your research or anything like that, and you want to document that, if you're familiar with LaTeX, you can actually just embed LaTeX equations right in there by putting the equations in the middle of $signs. And so there's a whole separate tutorial on the web. Just Google Markdown tutorial that shows you all the different markups that you can do with Markdown. And that's yeah, it's weird naming. So let's
Can you scroll up for one more minute, please?
scroll up to this.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And so once you're done editing that Markdown cell, you either just click out of it and it'll format it all, or Or you can do Shift-Enter, and it'll do all the formatting. So you see that crazy latex formatting turned into a nice, pretty equation. Everyone feeling pretty good with that? Yep. Okay. So the next kind of cell that you can do, and this is kind of the more powerful cell in our IPython notebook, are these code cells. So again, if you click on the cell type, there is, you just click on code, and so you can run command lines in here. And so if you're familiar with the command line, you can say, print working directory, and it'll tell you what working directory you're currently in. You can do the ls command to list all the files, all kinds of shell commands. I usually don't do that much just because I have my own shell. Okay.
So you just push on format code, and you can put in tutorial commands if you want.
Yep.
And it'll actually bring up. If I type in ls, it should list the command.
Yeah, if you type ls and do Shift-Enter, it'll execute that cell, and then it should list all the files. So this is like the great thing about IPython Notebook, but also a dangerous thing because anything you can do in the shell, you can do in IPython Notebook. So be wary about posting a notebook for other people to use because they could do bad things to your computer. Okay, next thing you can do with these code cells is do graphs. And so we actually already did this Pylab inline command, but you can also do it here. And that, again, that tells IPython notebook to display graphs inline. And then we have some IPython code here that prints a chirp. So if you click in there and you do Shift-Enter, you'll see that it actually plots the graph right there in the notebook. So the neat thing about this, again, is that you can have this markdown text that describes whatever you're graphing. And then if you have some data, you can just plot it right there. And so you can say, I'm plotting a chirp. Go up. Get the code. Okay.
So you're running the data that's in your notebook here. So
yeah, this one's actually just generating data. If we have time, I'd like to get it to where we all work on actually loading some data and playing around with it.
Do you have to import plot?
Matplotlib. I'm pretty sure Matplotlib is imported by default. But other libraries like Pandas that we're using,
Acting like it's not.
It's not. It's not actually plotting.
Did you run it with Pylab at times?
Yeah, it is. Okay, there's something else wrong then. Copy it.
Figured out? Okay. So the IPython terminal is, I'm too tall to stand and use a computer at the same time. So the IPython terminal is actually pretty smart about detecting Python code. So if you copy code directly from the internet like this one, it'll know to take out these signs here, periods, and actually still work. And also on top of that, let's say you try to run a command that has an error or something like that, or in this case, with this example, trying to run a non-existent file, it'll show a nice little error saying, oh, that file was not found. Or if you do Python code and you have some kind of error in it, it'll show an error report there telling you, hey, you tried to divide by 0. That doesn't work. So another nice thing about the IPython notebook, is that you can actually still use the notebook while it's running code. So this code here, if you execute it, you'll notice that it's printing out numbers, and it waits a little bit and prints out another number. Well, I'm free to do other things in the notebook, like I can edit here while the code is still running. So if you have some code that takes 5 minutes to run or something like that, you can run it there and then keep working in your notebook. doing that. On top of that, this is probably one of the things I like most about IPython Notebook. And note that this will only work on Macs and Linux computers. But if you run something that crashes IPython Notebook, which I seem to be pretty good at this, it'll detect that it crashed, and then you can automatically, you can choose either just forget about it, I don't care, I'm not running code anyways, or you can tell it to restart it, and it'll actually just keep running like nothing happened. So, nice recovery. I mentioned that you can show images, and so this is actually an image inside the directory. Let's go ahead and create. So this logo.png, as we can see, is a picture inside the directory. So you can do Python code to display that image. Or you can also use Python code to display image from the web. So this line here is displaying the Python logo from the python.org website, and it loads it in just fine as long as you have an internet connection.
You use the code option to do these things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you use the code cells.
Is there a way to do it in the markup?
Yes. Let's see. We actually get that.
No, just as long as it is.
That's fine. Just for fun while people are looking at other things, I'm just going to try to do it in markup. There you go. There you go. You just do it in the normal HTML image package to do that too. Okay, so another really neat thing about IPython Notebook, I feel like I keep saying this statement over and over again. Anyway, is that you can actually embed these images inside of the notebook, and so that means that when you save the notebook, the images automatically load. So if you plotted something and that plot took 5 minutes to generate, you don't have to rerun that code again to regenerate that plot. It saved it inside the notebook for you. And so this is an example of that, where they have an embedded image from the Lawrence Hall of Science at Berkeley. And I think, yeah, oh cool, so it's actually early now. Cool. When I was playing around with this last night, and it actually showed nighttime. So what you see is whenever you run this, this is linked to the website itself, and so it's going to load up a new image every time. So if you load up this notebook like tonight, you'll probably see that this image will be dark in nighttime outside. Whereas this one here, this one was embedded inside, so it just always shows the same image. A really neat thing for me is that you can display YouTube videos. So there's just this YouTube video command, and you put in the tag for your YouTube video, and it'll load it right up into your notebook and play. And so this is one of my, high-tech graphics swarming videos. And there's also ways to do this with Markdown as well, if you wanted to put it directly in a Markdown cell. I think that's just showing array videos that you can run. There you go. Oh, there we go. Right. Let's put another slide. So again, if we show all the files in the directory, we see that there's this animation video. Where'd it go? Oh yeah. If there's a Markdown command, this video controls. If you link to that video, you can put it directly into a Markdown cell and play it. So this is really useful if you have, like me, videos of something that's relevant that you need to log, like, for example, my swarming guys. I can say, here's a bit of behavior that resulted from my experiments, and I have it directly there in the notebook, rather than having to go to another website. if you're like me and have used Wikipedia all the time, you can actually just directly embed Wikipedia pages into your notebook. And so this is one of my principal component analysis. There's a code there if you run it. And there you go. You have, this appears to be the mobile version of the Wikipedia page. So if you have some technique that you're using that's on Wikipedia and you don't feel like describing it yourself, just load up the Wikipedia page and you have it right there in your notebook. And then also, IPython Notebook has a lot of fancy mathematical functions like I mentioned. So you can display math, and now it's more math, and more math. Yeah, the guy who originally wrote this notebook, this example notebook, is a physicist. So it seems like he kind of went crazy on showing off the mathematical abilities of IPython Notebook. Okay. Final thing is, if you find some code online, Python code that you want to load up into your notebook, instead of copy pasting, you can just run this %load command, and it will load it directly into a code cell beneath there. So here's the code that we loaded, and then if we execute it, there we go, we get a nice, pretty Anyone have any questions or?
If you use something like MATLAB or some kind of proprietary type program, you're not going to be cutting and pasting any of that code into here, right? You will be using the MATLAB version of it, essentially, right?
Right, yeah. Although, I mean, the really impressive thing about the IPython developers, though, is that they seem to really be incorporating everyone else's code into the IPython notebook. So like I'll be showing in a little bit, you can run R code in the IPython notebook now. You can run octave code, and there's people actively developing, probably their leads for it now. I'm assuming that. Maybe. Maybe that'll be hard.
Just looking at, I have a lot. It would be nice to document everything, but I have done almost everything in MATLAB. I thought of rewriting all those scripts into IPython. It doesn't sound like a good time to me.
Well, I can say that in my experience plotting in Matplotlib, but yeah, I know it is going to be. It is a transition, one of the famous quotes is, new technology, or whenever you adopt new technology, there's going to be an initial investment period where it's going to be a pain in the butt. But in my opinion, it's worthwhile to make that transition over to Python and everything. One, because you don't have to pay for it, and two, because it has this very nice, fancy, integrated architecture.
So you can use R packages in this?
Yes.
Just like you're in R, but incorporate it.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up an example. Where is that? Actually, just wrote a blog post on this. Stop loading. There it is. So there is this package inside of IPython Notebook called RMagic, and so whenever it's supporting any other language, it's usually whatever the language's name is, magic. And so this actually comes installed default with IPython Notebook, and you load it by doing this %load extension RMagic. And so that's going to tell it that, okay, I want to run some R code. And then here's just some data.
If it's IT.
What's that?
First, don't you?
Oh, right, yeah, right. Yeah, I put the installation instructions in the blog post. I have a link to it as well. There's a library that supports running R code in Python called RPy. So it's just another library that you install. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So you can tell it, like, for example, here's some R code right here running the summary function on it. And so you put the %R on that line that you want to be R code. And then here's the output directly from R. Same thing for plotting from R. This probably looks like a familiar figure.
Yeah, sorry, this is when you're writing a command in R, right? But if you want to use an already existing package, R package, you need to load it into Python, right?
No. As long as you have it installed in R, what the RPy library does is it communicates to the R library itself. So any packages you have installed in R, it can use those packages. And so like I have, where is it? The boot package, for example. They can call that one no problem because it just goes directly to R. Yeah. Any other?
You can make whole cells that are R code too, so if
Yes.
you have just like one big script that you want to load or something.
Yeah, if you do percent set R, then this entire cell becomes R, and then you can just do whatever you want. I've since purged R from my memory, so I can't just start typing R code. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and start up a new notebook. I'm just going to cheat and copy my code. Okay, and so now for the remaining, I guess, 15-ish minutes of the workshop, we can play around with reading in some data. And so, this is what I spend most of my time doing in IPython Notebook, is reading in data from my experiments, and then plotting it, exploring it, doing analyses on it, and trying to find some sort of significance that I can maybe publish. I think that's the gist of it. Okay, so go ahead and type this in.
30 minutes of RCR.
Exactly. You're welcome.
The co-authors are in the audience, so.
Okay. So this example, I highly recommend using this Pandas library. So hopefully most of you installed it. And Pandas is a very nice library that provides, if you're familiar with R, it provides basically a data frame for R. So we have this parasite data.csv file, courtesy of Luis. Thank you. And then you can actually print it out now and see, okay, now we have these 3 columns here with, each with 350 data points. It automatically detects, because we told it what counts as NA values, it automatically detects NA values. Let's see. If we want to access a particular column, you can say, okay, I want to view the data in the virulence column. You just index into it, put the name of the column, and it will actually print it all out for you. And so it shows those NA values there at the end. If you don't want to deal with NA values, you just type the drop NA function, and it will get rid of those.
Go back up.
Yep. I guess I should wait until everyone's caught up and actually read the file. So go ahead and put your green stickies up once you guys get this part done and it's actually read in the data file. Are you doing good over here? Alright. What's that? Oh, that's interesting. So they don't actually support Internet Explorer. Okay, well that's good. It's another reason to use Chrome then.
You should point out that Chrome browser that works in every case is Firefox. Chrome sometimes doesn't work.
Really?
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
I had issues with Chrome.
Oh, that's sad.
It's just importing everything from Pandas up. Maybe put all these on the same line. Oh, is this running inside the directory with the parasite data? I'm doing it in LS.
I also measured
Hey, just in time.
Yeah.
Just figured out that this was.
I see. Cool. Maybe try taking out those final arguments and just put those in the file. And maybe I can add going to this.
I got the first one.
Ah! Okay. Right, because you put that percent R there, that's telling Python that what it's receiving that line or what's falling that percent R. Right, yeah, here I'm just doing Python. That's something I can, that's a workshop.
Yeah, it's Python code, but it's
You guys not realize I physically carried
Yeah,
out
I mean,
stuff.
this Pandas library actually provides a data frame very similar to ours. Yeah, it's not our data frames, but it's very similar, and you can access it very similar. Okay. So it also has, Pandas also has other things built into it. Like, let's say we want to get the mean value of this column. You can just type the dot mean, and it'll tell you that. See if I can remember the standard deviation. Yeah. You get the standard deviation for it. So, of course, if you get the standard deviation, you can calculate standard error of the mean. So this function here is getting the number of values in there. All right, let me do square root. Okay, I'm not going to do that.
Get rid of the STD again.
What's that? Oh. Good call. Okay. Yeah.
Well, clearly it's a parasite.
Okay, so for the remainder of the time, I'm just going to open it up to you guys. You can work in groups or do whatever you want to do. Make a Markdown cell and log what you want to do. So, whatever, put the date today. I'm doing a stats analysis on this data, and then, I don't know, decide whatever you want to do. If you want to calculate the standard error of the means on it, on a certain subset, something like that. Just go ahead and play around with the data and get a feel for how Pandas works. And call me or one of my assistants over to, just want to walk through a simple example. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Feel free to email me or call me over right now if you ever want to play around with this anymore. And before you leave, please fill out one of these Yeah. It's basically a way to embed text into your notebook that you can format very similar to like HTML or something like that. So they have different things like, if you want to make italic text, you do that.
You still hit shift enter at the end of it?
Huh? I hit shift enter. Or you can just click out of the cell. Like click over here.
No, I'm just trying to figure out.
I just emailed you a link that I use for just like quick Markdown summarizer, Fireball. Well, people might want to see it. It's like super simple. It tells you just one page that you don't have to click a bunch of documents.
Right. Okay, nice. Thank you. I'll email that out to everyone in Canada. Sounds good.
Read these and then read the pencil.
2.5.
Apparently it's like
Well, I talked to and now that they have funding, they actually are planning to add like secure support for people actually.
We get a lot of requests for it.
Oh, yeah.
And I just installed it myself, and I'm like, you can, it's really compliant, because anybody can then connect to your notebook and run any command they want to.
Yeah. It's kind of dangerous.
Yeah, and it's fine when it's your own notebook and no one else is logged in, but when you're in a common shared resource, it's a real major loophole.
Right. Hopefully they'll get the password system worked out and everything, so we can.
Yeah, there's a test one. We're going to also spin up some VMs here.
below
As a way to
basics. Do you guys realize there's a back?
I think it'll be really cool.
There's a back, so
I have this.
I don't know which one's which. So.
You won't have to worry about all these installation issues that people are having.
Well, I think it'd be cool to be able to just connect to a URL and just deposit the
So if you guys are filling out this survey, note that there is a back with like responses of things you want in the future. So please, if you have comments, write them.
Yeah. Okay. Did I see a red sticky? Yeah, sorry, there's comments on the back too. That's where I actually asked for ideas for future workshops, how to improve it, what do you like, so on and so forth.
And just as an aside, there's a writing group that's starting through Beacon, and if you'd like to be involved with that, Matt Rupp is coordinating that. If you've gotten any of the Python emails from me, you can email me and I'll forward you on to Matt, but otherwise his email is ruppmatt@msu.edu if you're interested.
I'm really confused what's going on with the Panda button. It's still saying too many.
Is this related to the problem that it's this problem? Or are these like two different problems?
There could be a compatibility issue there.
We found another one. What are they having a problem?
What's that?
I found another compatibility and found the workaround. So what's your issue?
Writing pandas?
When you want to search sudo on every of your commands.
You have to use sudo install, sudo build. If you don't do it will not work.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
For doing the update?
Yes.
So did you manage to do the update thing?
Yeah, I think so.
They're probably going to work on that. The first, if you hit error, like they'll look like it succeeded except for the very last line, they'll say something about like something failed. And I was just like, what's going on?
Okay, I'll change that on the tutorial. Okay. If you want to run through it again, we can try to update it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had this room till 12:30.
Oh,
Okay.
all right. Have a good trip.
That's actually exactly what I did. I'm doing this in
Oh yeah, safe travels.
What I need to learn how to do in analysis because I have students from MATLAB. And this works really well.
You don't want them? Keep them.
I find it helpful to go after.
You don't want them? I'll take them.
Yeah, sorry.
I love them.
I guess trying to get